Alright guys, I believe this is part 4 of the LS swap project in the 72 for the newer people here. 72 Chevy C20 3/4 ton. Anyway, I got the pan off and I took that weird baffle thing out and cleaned out all this. There's a little bit of sludge on the bottom, but other than that it looks really good. Everything I could see looks good. So I cleaned all that out, cleaned the pan up. I gotta go get a torque wrench because these bolts have to be on exactly. The oil pan bolts have to go on like 18 foot-pounds exactly, or you can strip them out or something. Alright, I bought the $30 Walmart special torque wrench. I'm actually pretty impressed with it. It's pretty heavy, but I really need it, so it'll get me by for now. Another thing you gotta make sure, I guess, is that the block is perfectly aligned with the back of the block, flush. Otherwise, when you're bolting down the transmission, it can actually crack the oil pan. So you got to make sure that it's aligned nicely, because it does have a little bit of play in it. When the bolts are all finger tight, you can move it this way a little bit, and you don't want that. Alright, I did some research and I thought I'd share this information. It might be helpful for somebody. The two bolts around the oil filter, you want to torque at 16 foot-pounds because they're known for stripping out. The other ones, the other short ones, are 18 foot-pounds, and the two long ones at the back are 106 inch-pounds, or 8.8 foot-pounds. I couldn't find any torque sequence, so I'm just kind of going back and forth on either side to kind of make it nice and even. These are the two right here that you want to do at 16 because they strip out extra easy, I guess, according to the internet. The oil pan is torqued to specs. It looks good. Now I'm going to pull the valve covers off, coil packs and stuff. Take a look under there, see what it looks like. Alright, I got the valve covers off. The valves look really good. I don't see any broken springs or anything to be concerned about. So I'll get these covers cleaned up. And I'll take the coils off the bracket. I'll paint the bracket. I took the coil pack assemblies all apart. There's all my coils, the wires for those two banks, and bolts. I'm gonna clean up these brackets and paint them up. Alright, the valve covers are back on, all cleaned up. And these bolts are supposed to be 106 inch-pounds. So I just recently put that video up. What color should I paint this? It's titled, "What color should I paint the LS?" And the winning vote is silver and black, stock colors. So yeah, that's where it's gonna go. I just got some silver and aluminum colored paint, engine paint, and gloss black, and of course primer. A lot of you are saying leave the aluminum natural finish. I would do that, but it's kind of stained up. It's got some tarnish on it and stuff. It would probably sand off, but I'm just gonna paint it aluminum. I've taken the motor apart a little bit to paint. Just the water pump and the intake, that's it. Not gonna go any further. So I gotta clean this up. I wasn't intending to take those off, but might as well replace the intake gaskets and water pump gaskets while I'm got the thing out of here. You're probably thinking, oh, now's a good time to put an LS1 intake on it, or LS3, whatever the heck you call the low kind that you can see the ports running across and stuff. But no, not gonna happen. Sticking with the truck one. So I'm trying to get every nook and cranny clean before I paint this thing. And here's a little trick that I've been using when I when I clean engines. You get a small screwdriver and a clean rag, and you stick the screwdriver in the rag. It's really simple, but it's a nice little hack. And then you get in there and you can get it on the rag, the grease, get it nice and clean in that little hard to reach spot where you can't stick your finger in there. Get it around in there, and you know, you might have to move around on the rag to a clean spot, and you just keep doing it, and then you can see back there nice and clean. Just look at that. That was a ton of work getting this thing cleaned up, but I think it'll be well worth it to have some paint on there that'll last a long time. Oh yeah. I've had very good success with this stuff. I should get Rust-Oleum to sponsor my channel. Alright guys, it's another day. The primer is dry. Now it's time to put some silver on it. Here's the first coat of the aluminum color. Alright, I just got done cleaning up the coil brackets. I was surprised how nice they were under all that grime. I'm still going to paint them anyways, just because. Now it's time for the gloss black. I got all the aluminum color masked off. See, show you here. Turned out really good. Now I'm going to hit it with this. I also got my brackets, coil brackets, all primed up, and that'll also be painted. First coat. It's going to look great once I get another coat on and peel that tape off. Definitely worth all that effort of cleaning it up. Doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it's an engine. It's gonna get greasy, it's gonna get oily, but it's nice to have a fresh start. There it is, guys. All the tape is removed, or at least from painting the block. I still got all the ports and stuff blocked off, and it is looking really good. So I got one coat of that primer, because that's all you need, 2 coats of the silver and 2 coats of the black, and it's a real hard finish. I was going to clear coat it, but I decided I'm not going to. I did a small test of the clear coat right here, and it did something weird with the paint, so I'm not going to mess around with that. Besides, this is good enough. It's totally unnecessary to clear coat it. I posted a picture on Instagram of my channel name on the valley cover, and in the description I said anybody who comments gets their name on the valley cover. So far we got Texas Viking on there, but I'll be putting the intake on soon, so might get a couple more names on there before that happens. Here's the intake. Got it all cleaned up. I put some of this stuff on there and shined it up pretty nice. And I got my fuel line that runs over the intake masked off, and I'm just gonna hit that up with some silver paint. The whole idea for this build is underhood is gonna be all nice, real nice looking. Outside's supposed to look original, faded, something that you wouldn't expect an LS to be in, even though LS swaps are so common now, you can expect them under any hood. But that's not the point. The idea is nice under hood, outside kind of radish like. So I'm gonna get some paint on there, get a couple more names on here, and get that intake on there. That looks better. It'll be hiding under the engine cover anyways, but thought I'd make it look nice while it's out. And I think what I'm going to do, a lot of people suggested some yellow on the engine. I didn't want to paint any big major parts like heads, valve covers yellow, just too much yellow. So I think what I'm going to do is take a small brush, like a pinstriping brush, and take some yellow and paint all the bolts yellow. And I think that would kind of be nice, a nice finishing touch on the engine, and kind of go along nice with the yellow Vortec thing. That way there's a little bit of yellow to go along with the truck, but not too much yellow. Well, I got the gaskets and the intake on, and the bolts are just finger tight. I got to look up what the torque sequence is for those and the torque specs on that. And of course I forgot to get a shot of the names I wrote on there when the intake was off, but that's okay. So yeah, it's looking good. I'm gonna get those torqued down, and I'll be able to start putting my coil packs back together. Alright guys, there is the finished product. I really like how it turned out. You can see I did some detail work. I got like a pinstriping sort of brush and painted some yellow on the bolts, and I painted Old Yeller on there because that's kind of the truck's name, Old Yellow. Kind of never got a unique name, it just kind of stuck. So, but I think yellow gives it a nice touch. I'm really glad I painted it the original LS colors, and then the yellow kind of ties it in with the truck nice, I think. And painted brackets look really nice, and then the cover, I like that too. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I got some NGK TR55 plugs on the way. Those are supposed to be good plugs to run in this, and then I got some performance spark plugs. I like to get good spark plugs. I got those on the way because I just painted over these old plugs. I always get new spark plugs. I don't care if the previous owner said they were recently changed. I just like to always put fresh plugs in stuff. It makes a huge difference sometimes when they're gapped right and you got some nice plugs in there. But anyway, let's see, it turned out pretty good. Hope you all like it as much as I do. It's gonna look real good sitting in there. And I've been debating for a while whether to run an auto or a stick, and I was thinking a Turbo 400 would be so simple and quick and easy. But then again, you can't beat a stick. So I think I'm gonna run a stick, and I'll be able to use this bell housing right here. I'll get that painted up today. That'll be in another video, and I can use my clutch and my pressure plate, but I can't use my flywheel from the small block. I'm gonna have to get I think it was a 99 to 01, something like that, LS standard flywheel, because there's like a difference there in size and thickness of it. But I can use the bell housing, which is nice. I don't want to use this transmission. I don't like it. This is the original one. It's got the granny low, the big space between third and fourth. I don't like that. It's just not a performance transmission. It's not really good for on the road. It's a good four-wheeler, off-roading kind of deal, but I don't like it. I like to drive my truck, and this thing just kind of, it's not that practical. So I'd like to get a Saginaw 4-speed or a Muncie M22 or something like that. And then I know some guy locally who will program my computer for $100, which is a good price, and he will program the computer to run the 4-speed. That'll give the drive-by-wire a nice quick throttle response, because the auto program, it has a little bit of a delay. And then of course we'll get rid of the VATs and then the emissions program, and then that'll be all set. So next up, guys, next video, part 5, will be engine mounts. I'll get the bell housing bolted up here, and the bell housing is the truck style, and it's a 1/68 tooth flywheel, so that will work in my application because it's a truck bell housing. If it was a car, small block Chevy bell housing with a small flywheel, I wouldn't be able to use it. I'd have to run a big block bell housing, but that one I believe is going to work because the LS flywheel, I believe, has 163 teeth, and the old small block Chevy one, truck one, has 168, so I believe it'll fit just fine. And that bolts right up to these two mounts. I'll get that bolted up first back there, and then that'll show me exactly where the mounts need to be up here. I'm not going to get the adapter plates for the small block Chevy mounts because my mounts are in rough shape anyway, so I'm just going to get the weld-on LS1 type with the rubber bushing and weld them right in. So that'll be part 5. And then of course, once I get my transmission, which will probably be a while, a few weeks, month, whatever it takes, then I can start figuring out my clutch linkage, because this Z-bar is not going to really work. I'm going to have to do some fabrication there. Not a big deal. So yeah, I think you all can agree with me on the standard transmission. Don't even need to ask. Automatics are pretty boring. So stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.